What's up, Giants fans? I hope you're having a good Friday. If you're watching this on the weekend, I hope you are having a great weekend. It is Friday, which means it is mailbag time here at New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. And you know the drill by now, but if you're a new viewer, that's fine. If you want to get featured on the next New York Giants mailbag, it's an easy two-step process. You got to be a subscriber, and you got to drop your questions when I ask for them. So if you want to be featured on the next New York Giants mailbag, jump in the comments right now, use the hashtag Giants, and ask any question. And if it's a good one, if I like it, my producer Trace likes it, we will put it on next week's mailbag. First on this week's mailbag, my guy Flagspin. He asked, did you see the ESPN mock draft? Thoughts? Yeah, I looked at the ESPN mock draft. There were some things I liked, some things I didn't like. Will now pop up the first 10 picks on screen. Kayvon Thibodeaux, he was the first overall pick in the draft. I think he is no doubt going to be the first overall pick, the most impactful football player in the draft. I really wish the Giants would end up with the first overall pick so they could draft him, but I don't see that happening. Then Aidan Hutchinson out of Michigan. Derek Stingley, the lockdown corner out of LSU, went to the Jets. Then Neal, the offensive tackle out of Bama, went to the Jags at number 4. And then Ekwonu, the offensive tackle out of NC State. That is who ESPN had the Giants selecting at the 5th overall spot. My notes on Ikem, as some people will call him, Icky, his nickname. He's a bully blocker who has mostly played left tackle in his career at NC State. He's gotten a lot better at pass protection this year compared to last year. He's only a redshirt sophomore, so if he wants to, he could play 2 more years at the collegiate level. But anytime you're mocked as a top 5 pick, most likely you're going to bolt for the pros. And some NFL scouts, including our draft expert here at Chat Sports, Tom Downey, he believes that he could be a legit Pro Bowl offensive guard in the NFL. I like Icky because he can play tackle, he can play guard, he has position versatility. Here's the write-up that ESPN had on Icky in the mock draft and why the Giants were the landing spot for him. They said this: left tackle Andrew Thomas, the number 4 overall pick in 2020, has shown signs of improvement during his second season, though he's now on injured reserve with a foot injury, and his replacement Matt Peart remains inconsistent. The 6'4", 320-pound Ekwonu has been a stellar at left tackle this season, but opinions vary on the position. He'll play at the next level. He could be a top-tier starter at right tackle or guard. I think if the Giants draft him, like they are in this ESPN mock draft, he's going to be a right tackle because I'm all in on Andrew Thomas. I know he's had some injury concerns, and they've kind of lingered. He had surgery following his rookie year, and now he's back again dealing with a lower extremity injury, but I'm all in on Andrew Thomas. If you could give me Andrew Thomas on the left and Icky on the right, I think that would be a very, very good duo that would be great to protect Daniel Jones for the long term. And if Icky doesn't work as a right tackle, maybe they could slide him in to be the left guard or the right guard. I think this is a solid pick. The Giants, in my opinion, definitely need to go offensive lineman with their first pick in the NFL draft. But guys, I got a game for you. I want to see if you can stump the Schwab. Remember that game that used to go on ESPN back in the day? I'm not saying I'm the Schwab, but I want to see if you can name a random Giants player that I have never heard of. I don't want to hear guys like Eli Manning or Michael Strahan. Give me a guy like Ike Hilliard or Joe Juravicius. Someone that you think I will not remember. Maybe Ramses Barden or maybe someone else. I don't know. Just jump in the comments right now and give me a name of a random New York Giant football player. The best thing about the 2022 NFL Draft, the Giants, they have 2 first-round draft picks, and they need to hit on both of them if they want to really be contenders next year. 6 in the draft by the Philadelphia Eagles, according to ESPN. In their most recent mock draft was Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame, and the 7th pick for the New York Giants, the edge rusher out of Purdue, George Karlaftis. I really like Karlaftis, but I am a little bit concerned about his sack numbers. The sack numbers aren't great, only 2.5 sacks on the season, but he is still a really good football player that his impact goes well beyond the stat sheet. He's really good against the run, has some power, but doesn't have great bend and twitch off the edge. What do I mean by that? He's not an explosive edge rusher that's just going to, finesse and blow by offensive tackles at the edge. Doesn't really have the bend to get by him, but he's a power rusher that's really good with his hands, has great technique, and I think the NFL comp for him is A.J. Epinesa, a former Big Ten D end that I think is a 3-4 D end that can help in the run game. ESPN, they also did a write-up on why they think the Giants would be a good fit for Karlaftis. They said this: the Giants have gotten 5.5 sacks from rookie second-round pick Azeez Ojulari, but they need to stockpile young edge rushers to improve their defense. Karlaftis is a versatile and heavy-handed defensive lineman who could contribute early in the NFL. Karlaftis has only 2.5 sacks this season, but he is always around the quarterback. With two top 7 picks, this means the Giants get starters along the offensive and defensive end. The thing I like about Karlaftis, some people say he's not the best pass rusher, but in his freshman year at Purdue, 7.5 sacks. So he's shown the ability to get after the passer. I really like Ojabo out of Michigan. He has 10 sacks so far this season, and he just started to play football. I like those raw prospects that have already shown signs of flashes that could be great and productive. But in this mock draft, they had the Giants drafting George Karlaftis, which I think would be a good fit for the New York Football Giants. But if you were the GM, if you were Dave Gettleman, or maybe the next GM of the New York Giants, we'll talk about that in just a quick second. What position do you want the Giants to target in the first round with their 2 first-round picks? Get in the comments, sound off, and let me know. This next one coming from Timothy Hansen. If the Giants were to somehow make the playoffs, would Gettleman stay? I think I made it pretty clear. I don't want Dave Gettleman around much longer for the New York Giants, and it pains me to say this because you guys know how I feel about him. I think DG is back next year unless he retires. I really, really do. The fact that they kept him through the trade deadline, I thought spoke volumes about what their long-term plans for him. When you have guys like Evan Ingram, Darius Slayton, and Jabril Peppers who got hurt, but he had an opportunity to be traded before, so you don't trade when they're in contract years, not Slayton, but Ingram and Peppers. You could have got draft pick compensation for those guys and cleared salary cap for next year. I think DG's back next year unless he retires. There's been some rumblings that he could be forced into a forced retirement, but who knows? I unfortunately do think, though, Gettleman will be back next year being the GM of the New York Football Giants. But do you want him back? Sound off. Get your votes in the comments. Anytime we do a question like this, there's always differentiating opinions and votes. Some people really like Dave Gettleman. Some people don't like Dave Gettleman. I don't like him, but I don't hate him. I don't think he's the worst GM, and I damn sure don't think he's the best. But let me know what you think. If you want to back Y for yes, or if you don't, N for no. And if DG gets fired, if DG comes back, we will be breaking it down here at New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We just crossed over 2.7 thousand subs, so thank you to everybody that's clicked that big red button. We are trying to grow this channel to the biggest New York Giants YouTube channel there is, and the only way we can do that is more subscribers. The rule here at Chat Sports, we have 27 NFL channels. The more subscribers you have, the more videos you get to do. So as we continue to add more subscribers, we will be able to do more free videos like this. So if you want a one-stop shop on YouTube for all things New York Giants, go down and hit that big red button. This next one coming in from Connor Quitkin. He asks, will Joe Judge get fired this offseason? It's just hot seat mailbag, I see. We're going to talk about Joe Judge. We're going to talk about Dave Gettleman. My thoughts on Joe Judge. I've been really hard on him, but I do think he deserves a little bit of credit. The fact that the Giants could have 5 wins right now and be 5-4 if they didn't jump off sides against the Kansas City Chiefs or against the Washington football team is impressive. There's been a lot of injuries. He's found a way to navigate through all that. But what I would say about Joe Judge is that I'm not sure that's not it, Trace. I'm not sure that's what's going to happen. Joe Judge, I do think, will be back next year, no doubt about it. I don't think there's going to be a way that John Mara or the Giants organization is going to fire him after just 2 years, especially with the amount of injuries that we have suffered to the offensive line, to the playmakers. Daniel Jones missed a couple games last year. I know his record isn't impressive. I know I've been tough on him. I've called him a fraud, but I do see the slight signs of improvement, so I do think Joe Judge will be back next year. But do you want Joe Judge back next year, repping that New York Giants blue on the sideline, calling the shots for the Giants? If you do, go down and type K for keep, or if you want him out of here and you want someone new to be the general, go and type F for fire. Oh, wow, Trace. Is this real? Is this real? We have an official Marshall Green burner account, baby. What do you got to say, Trace? Let them know.
Hey, man, it's official. You're built different in these streets.
Built different. We officially have a burner account. He or she says, are you worried that Patrick Graham will leave to be a head coach next year. I am worried because Patrick Graham is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. The game plans that he's drawn up the past couple of weeks against some pretty good quarterbacks in Patrick Mahomes and Derek Carr, and then a bad quarterback in Sam Darnold, were really, really good. The last 3 weeks, the Giants have had one of the best defenses in the NFL. And he's gotten head coach buzz last year. He had some interviews. He turned down some interviews. And I think there will be more of that. He was asked by the media this week about the head coach buzz. He said this: I don't even think about it. Again, I'm a New York Giant. I love that. Love being a New York Giant. This is, again, a dream job to be here representing this organization. Joe Judge is one of my best friends. The ownership, the fact that people I learned football from are New York Giants, I couldn't ask for a better situation. I could care less about that stuff. Graham, he's going to get head coach looks again, no doubt about it. What he's shown and been capable to do as a defensive coordinator for the Giants in the past 2 seasons, you can't knock it. I know there was people earlier in the season that were talking about Graham's on the hot seat. Not a chance. Patrick Graham will be the defensive coordinator for the New York Football Giants as long as he wants to be that. Unless he wants to be a head coach, which he talked about that he hasn't. And he loves his job. He's the assistant head coach at the New York Giants. They gave him that love. They gave him that title. I think he'll be back next year, but I also do think he will go through some interviews. And are you concerned about Patrick Graham leaving the New York Giants? It's going to be a hole to fill that. I'm not sure that you're going to be able to find someone better than Patrick Graham on the coaching market, but if you're concerned about Graham possibly leaving next year to be a head coach, type your 1 for yes, or if you're not concerned and you think we can get someone else to do the same thing or better, go down and type 2 for no. And guys, if you want to be notified in other ways that videos are coming out here at New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, follow me on Twitter, because I always tweet out every single video, and if you follow me, you'll see the tweet that we've published a video here. If you want more of me on your timeline, follow me. If you want to talk New York Football Giants on Twitter with someone, hit me up. I'm your guy. I love talking ball. I love talking about our Giants. So follow me at Twitter, @MarshallGreen_, and send me a DM so I know you came from this video.